I want to welcome you to the Monday press briefing, where we use this opportunity to update the country on the internal affairs and general security situation within the country. You are aware that the whole country is mourning the passing on of the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah. He is a person who left a legacy as a fighter for this country. He had a lot of fundamental good and honor in the conduct of his business at Parliament and as a politician, and his legacy will always live on. Of course, there is a bit of speculation from a few members of the public about his death, but we are aware that the medical doctors at the opportune time will come up with an autopsy report. So we just want to call upon Ugandans to stop speculating over the death of the Right Honorable Speaker. Everybody will get to know the cause of death at the right time. And it is at this point that as spokespersons representing the Ministry of Internal Affairs, we want to observe a moment of silence. So we call upon all members to rise up and we observe a moment of silence in memory of the Right Honorable Speaker. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. Pakistani national also at his gate here in Kabalagala, but due to the quick response by the patrollers, their silence managed to flee away, but that matter is also being pursued. So this one shows you that businessmen are still being targeted in these follow-home attacks and robberies. And we want to urge the public to always take extra care when leaving and returning home. These follow-home robberies and front-gate attacks, where suspects trail you, they surveil you as a target, is one of the most serious and potentially dangerous crimes in this country. We have lost so many people who are always followed up to their homes and attacked at the gate while entering, or even when coming out of the home. So investigations in that matter are continuing, but it is always important that potential victims reduce the chance of becoming targets. If you monitor, this is a victim who always carried money with him while going back home, and so they could always monitor. There you become a target. It is always good that you try as much as possible to reduce the chance of being a target. Now, as far as safety measures are concerned while approaching your gate, we want to alert the people, we want to alert the public that if you have people whom you stay with, it's important to alert them to inspect the main gate and even search the area. If they give you an all clear sign, then you can find ways of proceeding to your home. Some of the homes are actually crowded. You find there's a lot of vegetation, there are displays, there are plants, which even obstruct you from the front gate view of your place. And this becomes risky for you. But we also want to encourage people that if you're carrying valuables, cash, and so on and so forth, it is a high-risk situation. So always try as much as possible to get the police with you so that you can be transported or escorted. Money is not worth risking a life. Therefore, do not risk once you have already been cornered by robbers, and wherever you try to put up a resistance, Remember, these are people who are desperate, and the longer the robbery takes, the more aggressive they become. So it's always good to cooperate. Like in this instance, the late Opio Ali tried to fight 3-4 men who were armed with a gun. And you can see it cost his life when they shot at him, and eventually died at Kamoli Hospital. So these are just ways in which we try to come out and caution the public. Then we have our police also in Serere, who managed to arrest a notorious suspect and former convict. And when we went to conduct a search at his home, we found when he had a handmade ghost gun that he had manufactured. This suspect has been identified as Engesu Emmanuel, 33-year-old resident of Obul village in Serere district. He's a former convict of murder, and what basically happened in the course of last week, this is a suspect who jumped into the home of a 68-year-old peasant of Alilimosel, which is found in Chere Town Council, Serere district. And the victim, that is Opolot Christine, aged 68, tried very much to, when this suspect jumped into the home, he tried to break into the home. He was armed with this ghost gun that he had actually assembled, and had threatened to open fire at the victims if they didn't open the door. But luckily enough, they were able to put up an alarm which threatened him, and they managed to escape. But their neighbors who saw him running with a suspected gun. So our police officers in Serere did good work. They responded to this incident, arrested the suspect, and when we went and searched the home, we got a ghost gun. It had a firing pin, it had a magazine, and was fully functional because it had been test fired with the 2 bullets of an AK-47. So it was a fully functional ghost gun, which is deadly. So we do strongly condemn such illegal manufacture of handmade guns, because wherever they end up in wrong hands, like in the hands of Emmanuel Engesu, you find them using them in acts of violence and impunity within the community. It also makes our investigations difficult because such ghost guns have no serial numbers, and therefore it cannot be traced in the database of firearms that have been DNA profiled or fingerprinted. So the suspect is being charged with being in illegal possession of a firearm, arms trafficking, and also dealing without a firearm license, criminal trespass, and threatening violence. About 5 counts actually on him. Away from that, we do have a few traditional cases that are painful. Our police in Natete has a suspect in custody called Salongo Sali. Salongo Sali is being arrested for aggravated defilement, a defilement which he committed in the year 2020 on a 12-year-old female juvenile. And of course, this is a matter that came to the attention of the police after more than 1 year. It so happened that Salongo Sali was known to the mother of the victim, called Namugerwa Maria Gorete, and they even shared the same plan. However, during the lockdown in 2020, Salongo Sali got the victim alone at home, locked the door, and then defiled this girl in a very grave manner because he penetrated her through the anal area and threatened to shoot this girl or even cut her with a panga if she ever revealed this ordeal. So for the last 2 years, this girl has been having an anal complication. Now that when she was taken to school recently in Chibale, the matron took interest, and she managed to reveal to the matron that the uncle Salongo Sali had had very painful anal sex with her and gave her 8,000 shillings. So now she has an anal complication that even when she goes to the toilet, the rectum tends to protrude and things like that. So we have managed to arrest Salongo Sali, and investigations are being expanded to have him charged with aggravated defilement. Now these incidents still continue of victimization of young children. Another painful incident also happened in a triangle zone here in Mulago, where a one Nisima Sharifa also reported a case where a stranger came into her home when she had left the children, including a 7-year-old girl, female juvenile. Now this stranger came to the home and convinced this 7-year-old to go and buy sweets, which she accepted just like that, and went with the stranger, took her and then brought her back home when she had been seriously defiled at 7 years. We managed to open inquiries into this matter, but these are incidents which really show you that as parents, I think the Deputy PRO also has something she will expound on. Parents are not doing enough. Guardians are not doing enough in protecting these young juveniles, especially the girl child. We have sex predators who are on the loose. They look at any single opportunity where there is a girl whom they can victimize, irrespective of her age. So we really need to be very close to our children, and let us continue training them and coaching them so that they are not simply lured by strangers like in this incident that we are talking about. Now, as to operations and UPDF operations in Usalama kwa Wote in Karamoja, we want to inform you that in the course of the week we had some achievements. We managed to recover 8 more guns from warriors in the Karamoja region. 37 ammunitions were recovered. 16 warriors were put out of action during the confrontation with the joint security agencies of UPDF and ASTU. A total of 56 warriors were arrested, and out of the 372 cows that were raided, we managed to recover 245, and out of the 620 goats and sheep, we managed to recover 607. So we've intensified our operations in Karamoja, and this shows a success story within the course of last week. So we want to thank our teams that are on the ground.